It's the Playhouse Podcast with Kat and JJ.
Can't believe it. I missed everything.
Missed the show?
What am I going to do?
Check out the Daily Podcast.
So let's say you just got newly engaged, but you've been keeping a secret. Back when you were 18, you were married for like a month. Should your new fiance even know about that, or is that a bad idea? That whole thing ran through our show this morning, and I want you to hear it a little bit later on in the podcast. Here we go.
Can you help me? Can you help me? Can you help me? Everybody!
Other people's problems. That's OPP this morning as we welcome Christian onto the show, and I want to dive right into this because we're a little short on time. You want to have kids, right?
Yeah, we want to have kids, like, pretty bad, but my wife is, like, she just wants to have it so bad, and her body can't, like, handle having kids, and she's doing everything. It's just driving me crazy. I want to adopt, but she doesn't want to do that.
So what is her reason for not wanting to adopt?
Because she said she can't love a kid that doesn't, like, look like her, you know?
I guess that's understandable.
It's very understandable. Some people might say, oh, that's terrible to say, but it's so true. And even if you have someone that's a surrogate that's growing your child for you as a mom to feel a little bit disconnected. But I do feel bad for those women out there that really, really want it to happen and it just won't happen for them. I can't imagine how frustrating that would be.
Well, it is frustrating as for her. I'm sure it is for you too, because, you can't, I'm guessing there's nothing you're going to say that's going to make this right. You can be as supportive as you want, but there's no solution for you, right?
Yeah, I've tried to show her. I'm like, look, this could be a beautiful thing that we're going to do, but she's just like, we got to keep trying. This kid's going to come out of me somehow. And I was like, hey, the doctor said it won't happen. I'm
always a little bit, shocked is the wrong word, but I'm always happy that our audience is cool with contributing ideas and thoughts to stuff like this. So I think what I'll do is I'll have you guys just probably hang up and then hear what everybody has to say about this, because I'm assuming there's at least a few people that have been through this and they might be able to offer you guys some help. I'd
love to hear if there are like support groups around that maybe you two could go to, like with other people that have adopted and they can say, we felt the exact same way. Like, we didn't know if we'd make a connection, and now we're all that this baby has. So, who knows?
Yeah, let's see what pops up, okay?
Yeah, I'd appreciate that. That'd be great. We need something.
Okay, so let's do this. Maybe you have adopted. Maybe you were in the same situation. You couldn't have kids. What are we missing here? I feel like there's something we're missing. I mean, adoption is an option. And if your doctor
surrogacy is an option.
Surrogacy is an option. Is there anything else out there?
Did he say tried in vitro?
She can't have children.
She
like
can't,
doctor said,
period. Okay.
You're not going to be able to have kids.
So one thing I thought, and I know that Khloe used a surrogate, Khloe Kardashian, for her son. And she was so open and honest about those emotions that our caller's Christian's wife is feeling, where it's like, I don't know if I'll be able to love this child if it doesn't come out of me. But Khloe was like, said the same thing, and now she's like, this is my baby. This is my baby boy.
But you run the risk of, like, what if it doesn't take? You know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden you go through all this and you roll the dice and you're like, it's the same as like if you go clothes shopping and somebody hands you something and you're like, no, I don't like that.
Really?
It's an initial emotion. It's an initial emotion. You're meeting a stranger for the very first time and you go, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you just have to kind of go with it. It's both of you. It's no part of anybody else. I don't know if.
What are we missing here, guys? Is there another option, or have you been through something like this? You can offer a little advice. Call us real quick, will you? Talked a couple seconds ago to a guy named Christian, who is basically you can tell that he's like really wanting to help his wife here, but he doesn't know what to do. So they wanted kids. She was told you can't have kids. They thought about the adoption route, and she had said something to the terms of, I just don't know if I can love someone that doesn't look like me. And I'm like, it's probably an unpopular opinion, but it's understandable.
If you pay for surrogacy, this child will look like you.
What does that cost?
Oh, I have no idea. We have a listener who, she was also on Family Feud, Savannah.
Oh, yeah.
She came on our show before to talk about that. That'd be interesting if she could text or if you have ever gone through surrogacy, how much did it run you?
And I'm sure
and what you have to
isn't
pay for.
Covering any of that, right? Like, that's all out of pocket, isn't it?
No clue. Can't speak to it.
Hey, Tina, you got some advice here for Christian?
As far as not wanting to go through adoption because of feeling that way, I can't I can't stress enough how much you love them all the same. There's an old poem called The Adoption Creed, and it's what it does is, well, it says, not flesh of my flesh, nor bone of my bone, but still miraculously my own. Never forget for a single minute you didn't grow under my heart, but in it. I highly suggest they remember that. I mean, it's phenomenal.
That just gave me chills.
The adoption is phenomenal.
Where's your oldest son from? Where'd you get him from?
It. Romania.
And did you choose a Romanian baby, or that was like the next one up for adoption through the agency?
We actually went through Children's Home Society down in the cities, and you go to a conference, and you can look at, they go over all your options and that type of thing, and you meet with all their social workers, and right away we both felt a very strong connection with that social worker. And we wanted it to be, so we picked Romania. For me, it was just safer. It felt better for me. My fear was always, I don't want the birth parents coming back and, changing their mind after you're giving your heart and soul to this child. So that was a fear of mine.
Well, if you're going through a legitimate service, would that even happen? Like, papers are signed, legalities will step in and protect you, right?
Right. They do. It was just my mentality that I felt safer that way.
Okay.
But he's wonderful. He's 28 now, and he's a father himself, and he's just been a blessing.
Hey, last question here. I don't want to cut you off, but we're a little short on time. How long did the adoption process take? Like, when you guys decided, hey, we're going to go start looking into this, how long until you had a baby boy in your house?
It was about 2.5 years.
Wow, you are all in for 2.5 years.
Yep.
What an effort.
Yep, and I'd do it all over again.
Those of you that were having regular relations in college may have dealt with this. I never really had to worry about this too much. I never came home for Christmas break and was like, Dad, I've just been hounding on too many babes. That was never a discussion that happened. So when we got this DM from Taylor, I was like, this is interesting. So you want to just kind of tell everybody what you were talking to us about?
Oh, my God. This is so embarrassing. But so I got back from college, and I had a couple of drinks with my girlfriends, and my dad overheard us talking about how I slept with 20 men.
Oh, my God.
On campus.
Holy cow. How are you maintaining grades?
And listen, I'm making it work, okay? Like, I need to, I'm trying to balance, having friends and having fun with my education. But so this is really embarrassing to me because now my dad, he won't talk to me. And I don't know how to, diffuse that awkwardness. I don't know what to do.
This is crazy. This is super close to home to me because my daughter will go into her junior year next year. And if I heard her downstairs saying that she got with 20 different guys, I don't think I'd cut her off, but I think I'd find some time to talk to her about this. Actually, what I would do is I'd say, Trisha, go downstairs and talk to your daughter.
Don't you think it's more impactful for a male to talk to her? That's why every girl needs a dad in their life. But, one, he's never going to be able to unhear that or unsee the unsavory things that he did picture. Like, he probably just saw a bunch of monsters going after his daughter, but just say, Dad, I'll do better. Because you don't need to do that. You don't need to be with all those guys.
Listen, yeah, right. You don't need to do that. But I'm thinking to myself, like, you're still at this point, obviously living under his roof. He's probably paying for some, if not all, of your tuition. I can understand that disappointment. As a dad, you send your daughter away to this school and you expect she's just sitting in her room studying. And obviously you were doing more than that. So this is tough. I don't know how to respond to this. I'm excited to see what everybody thinks. Like, how do you repair that bridge that now your dad feels like is really broken? Everyone is allowed to do what they want with their body. But I'm just saying, like, you got to think about it. Is it worth it? There are a lot of risks that come with being that sexually active. And it does sound like it would take a lot of time and effort to make all that happen. Think of all the other stuff that you could be doing that's productive. Yeah, so let's see what everybody else thinks, and hopefully you can get maybe a little inspiration on how you can patch things up with Dad here, okay?
Yes, please.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It sure is. new study showing that video games are topping the kids' list when it comes to the holidays. So 76% said that they would want video games. So now you don't really go out and get the video games. You have them downloaded onto your thing. But second and third choices were clothing and electronics.
I'm not discouraging the video games because I have a 17-year-old and that's the way he communicates with a lot of his friends, right? But I was telling Kat this the other day. I just saw research, and I think it was from Johns Hopkins, that surgeons, people that are in surgery, that have been tested over the last 5 years that are gamers in their off time, their number of mistakes in surgery is 26% less than surgeons who don't do video games.
So fast acting decisions, hand-eye coordination.
Yeah.
Okay.
It should technically be some kind of class in med school that you should have to play video games. I mean, that chunk of research does not lie. So if I'm going into surgery anytime in the future, that's a question I'm asking my doctor.
It could also be very calming for these students, too. They have a lot on their plate trying to get through med school, and just to have maybe an hour a day to game and relax in those weird gaming chairs, that could work out.
Before you crap on your kids gaming all the time, they could be the next great surgeon.
Also, if you're putting a lot of stress on yourself when it comes to getting your kids gifts, I love that one notion where it's what they want, what they need, what they read, and then an experience, and then a stocking filled with deodorant, chapstick, candy, stuff like that. So if you don't want to feel that pressure of buying them tons and tons of stuff for the holidays to make it bright for them, do the 4 and make them really cool.
So what is it again? They need what they want, what they need.
What they need, what they read, what they want to, what you want them to experience. So maybe ride wristbands to the Mall of America, or a trip to the zoo, or something like that.
80.
Not for the next 30 days.
Thanks for making us part of your morning routine. I really, really appreciate it. Excited to bring Chris on the show because, well, dude, we're fresh off an engagement, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's getting wild out here. I'm really excited. It's going to be so much fun. I mean, I'm busting at the seams. It's going to be so much.
Congratulations. This is a big move. So what's your question then?
Thank you. I mean, full disclosure, back when I was 18, I was actually married.
Okay.
For about a month. And I don't know, I'm trying to think, should I tell her about it?
So you're getting ready to get married again, and you did not tell her that you've already been married once.
And none of your family has disclosed that? Normally it leaks out at Christmas.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's kind of one of those things where it just hasn't really come up. I mean, am I crazy to not? I mean, I don't feel like it's that big a deal, really. I mean, it was for a month. Who cares, I was 18. I mean, it was like a flash in the pan kind of deal. I mean, it was, I don't know.
So I suppose I look at it this way. Has she told you everything about her 18th and 19th years on the planet? Do you know everything that happened every day those days?
No, not at all. Who would want to go into the deep dive of all the craziness that you would get up to during that time? It was for a month, dude. She was nice and cool, but it just ultimately didn't work out. And I don't think that that's really that big of a deal to tell her.
This would be interesting to see what our listeners think about this, because I think we're going to get a couple of guys like you and me that are well, it doesn't really matter anymore if you were ever married. And then you're going to get a bunch of people that are she should know everything about you. So let me turn this over to those guys, and you'll kind of hear everything through your phone. I'll put you on hold, okay?
Cool. Thank you.
Would you definitely would say something though, Kat?
I would. I think that, one, it'll make you look like you're hiding something. So what else? That's where our female minds go. What else are you hiding from us? I am very astonished as to how this secret has not gotten out. Some dumb cousin goes, round 2, huh? Somebody should have let it out by now.
He just put it behind him.
But that's the thing. You're young. If she's mature and loves you, it won't even matter. We do so many weird things when we're younger. So you got married.
I crashed my mom's car when I was 16. I don't talk about it all the time.
But you've spoken about it.
Yeah, but not a secret. But not to everybody.
You said it into a microphone.
Wow, it's a little bit different. What would you do here? All right, you're just engaged. She doesn't know you were married for a month when you were 18. Would you tell her? On Thursday's show, another chance to win a trip to Punta Cana. And since there's all these new toys in the Toy Hall of Fame, what if you couldn't afford them when you were a kid? Like me. What's the poor kid Toy Hall of Fame look like? We're going to run into that about 6:30 during our live show Thursday morning. Right now, let's wrap up the podcast. Just spoke with a guy named Eric Chris a couple of seconds ago. He's going through this.
Back when I was 18, I was actually married. For about a month. And I'm trying to think, like, should I tell her about it?
And he's newly engaged. So he's moving on to a second. Do you tell somebody? I mean, do you tell them everything?
Anybody that gets upset about somebody's past is very immature to me. Everybody has a past. Whatever they did, you're their future. So all you have to say is, dang, I thought I'd be your first wife, but now I'll be the best wife. You
What if she jumps ship, though, man? Like, you got the catch of the day.
She's not the one. No, she's not the catch of the day. You'll look for that Atlantic salmon down the line.
Kim, do you have to tell her?
Yeah, absolutely. I believe in a marriage, your significant other should be your best friend, and you would tell your best friend anything and everything. So if you're not telling them anything and everything, then I don't even know that he should be engaged if he hasn't disclosed that already.
Yeah. Can you imagine how you'd feel?
The relationship that seriously.
You go through your wedding and everything like that, and then you find out like a couple of days later, somebody says, well, your wedding was so beautiful, much better than his first one. Can you imagine finding out that way? I would be really hurt. And that's how you're going to start your marriage. Yes. Embarrassed. Yeah. Good word.
Good call. All right. Thanks, Kim. We appreciate your thoughts. Have a great morning.
You too.
Take care. I want to get a guy's angle on this. Eric, do you have to tell her?
I would definitely say yes, because, I mean, like the previous caller that had, put in that they are it's going to be your best friend, for life. And, I mean, it would suck to find out, a different way, come out with the truth. So it's going to hurt now, but it will hurt a lot less than it will later.
Are you married, Eric?
I'm not married, but I'm in a serious relationship right now.
And have you told her everything that happened to you even when you were 18?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Like, I mean, I would say like close to like 90%, just with past relationships and everything, because both of us have, had it hard trying to find, that true love and everything. And trying to tell her that I was previously married, it's something that some women will accept it and others will be like, no, he's been married before. I don't want that.
Right. And that's okay. That's how you sift through and find the ones you're supposed to be with. I was reading that Lunchables are being pulled from the program that gives free and discounted meals to like 30 million.
Those can't be good for you.
Low-income school children. Well, they did find that there has been a warning for months and months, and I don't know if they've just been ignoring it because it's a good program to just feed these kids, but they've found high levels of lead and sodium. And
sodium is off the charts on those things.
You're focusing on the sodium and not the lead?
Well, I'm sure there's traces, right? A little lead doesn't hurt anybody.
Well, it's not just Lunchables. It's like Heinz Kraft and all the other like pre-made meals that they send to these kids.
You think it's bad now with this stuff? Wait till RFK gets his hands on our food system.
This was like a dream if I opened up my lunchbox when I was younger. If I got to lunch and packed a cold, normally I had hot lunch. And then on the days that my mom maybe was like staying home from school, she was a teacher, so she was gone by the time I had to leave for school. And so sometimes I would pack my own and act like she packed it. So I'd write a cute little note. It was like the saddest thing. I know. But we didn't ever have junk in our house. So if I had opened my lunchbox, the dream lunch would have looked like a white bread sandwich with meat and cheese, whatever, but cut as a triangle, because that just shows they pay
rich
attention.
People do.
Yes. Butterscotch pudding, like a snack pack, fruit roll up, and a bag of blue Dorito chips. Like if I opened that, it would be a glow would come out of my lunchbox.
Like opening the Ark of the Covenant?
It would be a dream, but it never went that way because we didn't keep that stuff in our house. So it had like kale chips, flaxseed chips, stuff like that.
I did hot lunch all the time too, but every once in a while, especially when my dad was away for the military, my mom would start packing cold lunches because I think she felt like she wasn't being a very good mom.
Yeah.
And kind of the same. But here's what would make me happy. If number one, if I had an orange, because all of my friends had like the rich stuff, like snack pack. I never had a snack pack.
Yeah.
Never freaking once. My friend Jason, every freaking time, snack pack with and it was the metal can at the time too, with the metal lid where you can rip it off. That's how old I am. But he'd have snack pack all the time. All the time snack pack. I was so mad about that. So I would like, if I got an orange, it meant I could peel it and it would take a little bit longer to eat my lunch. And I always liked oranges. They were great. Turkey sandwich would always be top of the list. And then celery and peanut butter. My mom would cut up celery and put it in a baggie. Yeah. And then she'd spread peanut butter on the inside of the baggie. So I'd have to scoop the peanut butter off the little Ziploc or whatever.
Did you make like ants on a log or anything?
No, I never had that. I never got a note in any of my lunches. Nobody loved me. I didn't
either. I wrote my own.
I wouldn't even get my name on the paper bag.
Yeah.
But the snack pack was always the brass ring. And I don't ever remember once having a friggin' snack pack. God, I wanted them so bad. Every time Jason had a snack pack, I wanted it so
All my friends
bad.
had it. I feel like I love Liam by giving him hot lunch. I'm like, I just loaded another $30 onto his a la carte. He's very sparing. Like, I'll give him $100 for the whole year and he'll have some left over. But like, I every day, I can't give him pork cutlet. I can't give him, he had chicken parm yesterday. You know, like this is top-notch meals that I could not give him because I can't pack a lunch to save my life.
The fruit roll-up sounded good, too.
Yeah.
I never got those.
My whole dream lunch would have been just crap food.
Well,
but
of course,
all my
every
other
kid's
friends
it
had
tastes
that.
delicious. It's full of sugar, and you want that.
Oh, I would see them open their lunch pail, and I'd sit down with my square pizza, which was good. Don't get me wrong. But still, I'm like, oh, my God. That's how you're living?
Think about that. As you kick back to your childhood, you're in elementary school, maybe middle school, and if you got lunch sent to you, what was the coup de grace? What was the big one? Like you were like, yeah, today is my day.
My mom would show up only on my birthday, but like a huge Subway sandwich meal. So with a balloon tied to it. So that was always pretty special, but that was just one day a year.
I lived in such a small town. We didn't have fast food. What? There wasn't a single fast food place. Growing up, we didn't have one.
How far away was one? You had fresh food?
25 miles. No, the closest we got was like a gas station pita.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I remember when you'd get a little bit older, some of the older kids would skip lunch and then they go to the gas station on the highway, and they would make like for like the lunch rush, they would have like 10 pizza pockets.
Yeah.
And they were like $2, but they were like, you know, if you go to get a calzone at Old Chicago or something, like just the giant one, they'd be like that. And those kids would come back and they didn't care. They had pizza sauce all over their face. They didn't care if they got busted leaving for lunch because they got a pizza pocket.
Lunchables just brought me back because it was like the go-to field trip day lunch, but loaded with lead.
You want to know how to change the world, son? One act of random kindness at a time.
Today is Happy World Kindness Day. You're a joke. What's the last kind thing that you did for somebody? What? Yeah, we'll give you time.
It's going to be
Yeah, we'll give you a second.
I can't think of one thing.
Today, if it doesn't inspire
How about you?
I don't boast. That's the thing. That's the best part. I can't even tell you.
I don't want to do push-ups. I don't boast.
I try to do at least 2 things a day that would make somebody feel better.
Listen,
and there's no
you know what I do that's kind
better feeling.
Every day around here, I don't tell people what I really think.
Yes, you do.
Listen, you're getting about 2%.
Lucky us.
I am kind to almost everyone around here by not telling them what I really think.
Well, now you got something to do. All right, maybe check a couple off your list today. Do something kind today, and then try it tomorrow. And then try it the next day.
Exhausting.
You know what my kid's doing right now for student council, giving high fives for World Kindness Day.
He's going to get sick,
through.
all those germs.
Oh, my God, I didn't even think of that.
You should have gloves on.
I should have given him like an airborne.
Rubber gloves. My daughter came home from college yesterday just for a quick minute. I had to change out one of her blinkers, and she had some food, and we were discussing things. And just like deadpan, she just looked at me and she goes, "What was the best part of your childhood?"
Oh.
And I was like, "Oh, that's inquisitive." And I said,
"Was everything black and white back then?"
I dream in black and white. No, simply, and it was an easy question for me to answer. I would take my baseball glove, I would put it on my bicycle handle, and within 5 minutes, I could round up 10 kids in our neighborhood. We would go over to this Catholic church that had a baseball field, and we could play there all day. And all I would have to say is, "Mom, going to the church."
Yeah.
Boom. And you could be gone all day. And it was such a fun, simple life. Now, inside that 8 or 9 hours of baseball, tons of fun, a lot of laughing. You learned some words you probably weren't supposed to know, probably 1 or 2 fist fights, but you all left as friends, and then you were like, let's do this again tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
And that was easily the best part of my childhood. If you had to pinpoint one great memory, what would it be?
I would say free range like that, too. We would get on our bikes and we would ride to the Anoka Aquatic Center, which was 3 miles from my house, but the ride went by like that. And then spend the whole day, didn't ever load on any SPF. You'd try to scrape together your pennies to buy your lunch, which was like a freezy. And then we'd go to my grandma's house on the way home because she'd pump us full of like Kool-Aid and Oreos. And then she'd say, ride safe. And then we'd go through like, and I hate to say it, we used to call it the Nut Hut. It was the mental hospital. And we'd ride through and you'd like pretend like you were being chased by all the people and they would just be watching you. And then we'd be home by the time the street lights went on.
Yeah.
And got kind of a glimpse of that with Liam this summer. It was really nice. Like all the neighborhood kids would gather in the backyard of this person's house where you could like glance out your window and see them at any given time, but they'd be playing basketball or baseball or riding their bikes. And I'm like, yes, go. Check in with me every once in a while. You know,
Brian, fill in the blank here real quick. Best part of your childhood?
Riding big wheels.
Big wheels. Do you guys have them?
We did have my brother had big wheels. I don't think I ever had a big wheel.
I remember I got one from, my parents got one from a garage sale.
Yeah.
And it was great, but the plastic tire in the front had a little ding in it.
Yeah.
So it would go thunk, thunk, thunk every time I would do it. And I pretended like I didn't care, but I really did. Doug, best part about childhood?
My dad was a truck driver over the road. So, my favorite thing was being on the road with my dad for months at a time.
Oh, yeah, those are good times.
I saw that the other day. There was a semi-truck driver that was at the gas station, and he had his 2 kids with him. So maybe he was just bringing
and those cabs are comfortable to sleep in. I think if you can, my biggest concern would be like always eating out.
Right.
But if maybe you're gone for a week and you plan it out really well, maybe you're back and forth in your home every night.
But way to show them, the country.
Yeah,
if you're going state to state to state.
Kim, best part about childhood?
Well, the ability to just go outside and play all day long without a care in the world.
Yeah, right? I mean, that was just it. You weren't really too wigged out about anything. I got time for one more real quick. Kayla, best part of your childhood?
I would say my best part of my childhood was, like you guys are saying, being able to just go on your bikes and do everything. But I grew up on Mille Lacs Lake.
Yeah.
So all of the kids would get together and we'd go find different beaches around the lake and just go swimming and play at the beach all day. No parents around. We all were safe. We all took care of each other. But we all had fun doing whatever we wanted to do, and we were all having fun at the beach all summer.
Are you a parent now?
I am.
And would you even allow your children to even try this the way you were free-ranging it?
No, absolutely not.
I know.
Why? Why aren't we doing that?
Because you look back and you're like, oh my God, I could have died like several times, or somebody could have drowned and nobody would have known.
But Kayla, what if that would have been taken away from you? What if that wasn't allowed because your mom was a little helicopter-y? Like, you'd have missed out on all those great memories, right?
Yes, I would have, but I was born in 1989. That's when Jacob Wetterling got taken, and now I think of that, and I'm like, how did my mom let me go out on my own when people are getting stolen?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I get the world is a little bit different right now, but talking about this makes me think that we're probably overparenting our kids a little bit too much. And there's always an ebb and a flow, right? Like, we look at our parents and we're like, they just let us do whatever the hell we wanted. And now we're probably a little more clamped down on our kids. So will they be a little bit more free range with their kids? Does it kind of go every other generation?
That's the thing. I was talking to my son about this, where I'm just like, I was raised like this, but I wonder why I'm maybe a little bit more helicopter-y, because I won't let him go in people's houses. Like, I want to hear him.
Really?
I want to see him. If I look down the street, I want to see him playing basketball. But I watch too much Law and Order SVU to be comfortable. I don't know these men that are dads that are in this house, and they could be just perfectly great guys, but I don't know that. And it's always the nice ones, you know what I mean, that you hear about in the news. So I'm a little helicopter.
My daughter is about to get her driver's license soon, and I'm terrified to let her just go with her friends like my parents let me do that too.
There's a little bit of a safety net there. You probably got Life 360, right? If you don't, you're probably going to get it.
But what's the Minnesota law? Like, she can't have a passenger for 6 months?
2, is it?
I think it's 6 months, isn't it?
I don't know. I can't remember. It's not like we ever paid attention to it. Like Kayla's going to be the same as me.
Well,
She's
we're
like,
going to have a family rule of like a year. I need my kid to know how to navigate the road before he brings someone else's baby into his car. That's how I look at it. Like, I don't want him to be responsible for getting into a car accident that could hurt his friend.
Kayla, how many kids do you have as you're listening to this?
I have 2.
Okay. So I have 3. So when I hear Kat say things like this, I go, whatever.
Yeah.
By the time our third came around, I was like, you got your license? There's a car. Get the hell out of here. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things that you graduate and there's a little bit more length of rope for every single kid. But hey, thanks for checking in. Good memories. Have a great day.
Bingo! How fun!
Last week, someone lost an eye at bingo.
Bingo!
Bingo what bingo?
Bingo! Bingo! But hang on, can't get through yet. First, you got to find out what we're looking for this morning. The first person through gets to tell their amazing story because there's somebody listening who
is in the wrong line of work. Like, one of my examples was you just don't like kids, but you work at a preschool. Probably not the place for you. This guy, I think, has chosen the wrong line of work because if you're going to be a delivery driver, you're going to show up to somebody's house. They might have a dog, and if you hate dogs, you'll freak out.
Buddy. Oh, dog is coming.
Yeah, she's ready.
Dog is
She's ready.
I'm scared.
Dogs smell fear.
And what a true dog owner that is. Instead of keeping the dog in the house, you're like, oh, she's friendly. Listen, obviously, he is afraid. So keep the dog in the house. Dog owners are so selfish.
We have that problem all the time because our dog just wants to be your best friend.
Who cares?
And so I got to sneak out the door and make sure she's not right behind me.
That's nice of you.
I'm looking for anyone listening who has been given a Christmas gift that made you cry, like it made you weep.
Oh.
And the closest I can come to an example is that my sister gave me, and she had kept after my parents had passed away, my baby book. So she gave it to me for my birthday just the other day.
That's cute.
And I was reading through it the other night, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like 50 years ago.
Yeah.
My mom was taking all these little notes.
That's
and like
crazy.
And the weird part was she kept notes in that up till I was 4 and then suddenly stopped.
She didn't like you anymore.
No, my sister was born. Joanne, which one do you fit?
I fit yours, JJ.
Oh, all right. So what'd you get for Christmas that made you cry?
My great-grandma used to do a lot of sewing, and she made my sister and I matching shirts one year for Christmas. And then after she passed, my mom did a lot of sewing. Also, she went through and made blankets for us.
Oh.
And she used the material out of my great-grandma had left over from our shirts.
Oh.
I like that. And you just wept like a little baby.
Yeah.
Didn't your sister take some of your dad's clothing?
My sister did this for both my parents when they passed and took like some of their favorite like sweatshirts or stuff like that. And you could make bears out of them.
Very cute.
And they're like stuffed teddy bears and then gave them to all the grandkids. And it's fun when you go in to clean their room because they're delinquents and you still see them sitting on the bed or something like that. And it's weird how that smell sticks in there for so long. Like I can smell my dad's cologne on that still. And that's been over 10 years. So it's a little bit weird. So it's amazing how those little memories will just cause a trigger and all of a sudden you're just welled up.
Yep, I have memory bears of my dad and my sister.
Yeah, those are always a good idea.
Now considering,
hey,
and now we're considering doing one with my mom too. So.
Oh, great idea! I like that that you're feeling this. Thanks for sharing with us. Hope you have a great morning.
Thank you.
Take care.